gonna have to interrupt you and object to that, Mr. Stiggs, because I will bring up a few maps afterwards, and it was not mythology. I believe and have put forward the evidence that they were maps from the pre-cataclysm civilization that were being copied over, and that anywhere that was showing where these ancient rivers were or the old land masses, how things were before the cataclysm of the Younger Dryas event, they all have the pre-existing. For instance, they say that both Antarctica and Australia weren't found and inhabited until, I believe, like Antarctica was early 1800s or late 17s, and that Australia was in the 17 or 1600s. And yet, in all the maps, they are depicted together as Terra Australis, and and named Australis as the South Pole, and that it just extended up, and that there was more land and possibly ice at that time, but there was even towns written there. Another thing that they did, which is exactly what you're showing, is the rivers in the Sahara, Africa, and that yeah, right there as you're showing. And it's not just this map, all the maps are showing these, and that they hadn't, the Europeans that were copying these maps over and showing them had not been into the interiors of Africa yet to document that that river was no longer there. But now, with looking with satellites, we have found the dry riverbeds in the exact same spots.
Well, not just dry riverbeds. In my experience, there's so many canals out there that they could have been doing this. This could have been terraformed, in my opinion.
Oh, it
You know,
definitely was. You showed the evidence of it.
and this is okay. So let me just be clear. I mean, let me just back out, and I'll tell you three things about this map. Now, according to my research, this map was found in not like a government document, but more of a Catholic collection of maps of the mythology that they believed. And I know what you just said, and I understand what you're saying. But let me just clarify that they believed three things. Number one, that, and you can see it up here, the isthmus of land that connected the Spanish to, this is before there was a what do you call it? Pillars of Hercules. Before there was a Strait of Gibraltar, there was a belief.
Yeah, look at that.
Number two, look down here. How many maps from the 1500s show Antarctica?
That's
Now,
what
if
I'm
you
saying. They all do. They all
they
do with
all
that.
do, and then they try to play the game that it's discovered in 1820. If you check Wikipedia, it says 1820.
Exactly.
It's a joke. And then last but not least, and there's probably a lot of other things you can find out up here in Asia and Europe, but I've only looked down here where in Egypt, where the Nile flows from Atlantis. There's a West Nile, there's an East Nile, and yes, we know that the Nile probably came from Lake Megachad, which is down in Chad. But at the same time, that's not what they believed in the 1500s. They believed that it came from the Atlas Mountains, and the Atlas was Atlantis. That's where I want to clarify. Atlas was Atlantis. It's the same family of words. And you can see on this map right here, Atlas Mountains up there at the top. It says going something to Egypt, but then it also shows the river flowing from Atlas. Nile flowing from Atlas. That's how ChatGPT translates it. And so, I mean, no, I just, this map. Did I lose you, by the way? Or are you still there?
I'm still here. And as soon as you're done with this Catholic documented map, I've got a couple more to show you with the exact same thing.
Look at down there. What does that say? Cartography associates David Rumsey collection. I never saw that before. But this is supposed to be from the Yeah, it was a collection. Go ahead. I will give up the screen to you.
All right. Well, we are going to start with an Arabic map. And look at that. The Arabic map also has, whoops, wrong way. Oh no, I lost it. Hold on. Hold on. Back to, here we go. So we have Antarctica with Australia all as one landmass. There's this little area where South America almost touches the tip, and it goes all the way up, covering past where Australia once was. But look what else it has. It has the rivers in the Sahara, the same Nile connecting in all the. Oh, here we go. There's the Nile right there coming from Atlantis, going through and down connecting in. So again, we have, oops, darn it, more evidence of
Very
all of
clearly.
the ancient
Very
cultures.
clearly. Now, don't get a little tricked. Now, when you look at the river that's below, that's the Senegal River. But what you
Yes,
see happening is it goes
I'm
across
talking about this one
right
here.
there. Yes,
This
yes.
one.
And that thick line is the Tropic of Cancer. So that means
Yes,
that
it
they've
is.
got the Tropic of Cancer going across the 23.5 degrees, but then down below it is the Richat structure. So they're showing that coming from the Atlas Mountains in Morocco, for sure.
Yep. And so that's the Arabic version of it that has now come out. And then, so again, so these are North America they're showing. Look at that. Oh, Mexicana before it was Mexicana in America. And again, Terra Australis, and how South America just touches. But I also got to point out, all these maps are well before they put the Great Lakes in. And yeah, look, they have Shalaga, and they have this river that goes all the way, and it's the same on all of them. And now, what are they finding at the bottom of the Great Lakes? They're finding megaliths that were made pre Great Lakes, pre Cataclysm. So humans had to make those megaliths. So the megalithic builders were there before the Great Lakes. And here again, we have no Great Lakes. Look, they're all the way up, but no lakes. And again, another map, no lakes.
It's crazy. And
Right?
you know, you wonder how is that possible? The only way I see it can be possible is that they're dealing with knowledge that came pre-cataclysm. And yeah, maybe it was passed down. Maybe it was word of mouth, but they didn't have any of that knowledge, and then suddenly, boom, that cataclysm happened. I believe those Great Lakes were formed about 12,000 years ago.
Exactly. And so here again is they have a river going all the way to the continental divide in North America where the Great Lakes should have been. And every single one of these maps have it. And it's that as they conquered these lands and got new cartographers in, they redid how the geography is after the cataclysm. And that's why you see South America larger, and it goes all the way up to Antarctica, Australia, former land ice mass, and South America much larger. Look, they even got pyramids in the center. And again, you can see there's the rivers in the Sahara. And they
Right.
also have 4 islands at the top.
True.
It's in all of them. So it's being copied by the different monarchs, and that they all had them. And why would they be putting rivers, make believe rivers in? No, it's being copied from how they used to be. They're not going to make up stuff and throw people off to their death and misrepresent their official maps they're making for their kings and queens. Like it doesn't make sense. The only
Well,
thing
go
that
back
does
to that
make
one.
sense.
Go back one map and look at Baja California. the armpit. Yeah, there you go. Look at Baja California and look at where the Colorado River, it actually connects and goes east. Yeah, you've got 3 tributaries. One of them is for sure the Missouri River. Wait a minute, I made a mistake on that. But what is that mountain that's separating Colorado? I mean, yeah, it's old, but it shows real rivers. And those 3 rivers, where are they now? I can tell you right now, one of the major ones is the Green River in Moab. It connects the Colorado River. There's other rivers up there. There's so many rivers that connect.
So these maps are from, I believe, the 1500s, some the 1600s, and some even the 1400s. No, these are all 1600s. Again, look at this map. Oh, look at the river we have here.
It's amazing how they don't even deny it. The river, you can see very clearly the Senegal complex. The river Senegal, yep, and down there, that's the Amazon.
Right? But look, Brasilia before it was named. Chile before it was named. Like there, it's insane. Oh, look at the size of Tartaria there. Tartaria making up most of Asia.
Yeah, what's that map? That's a good one.
So this one is the
right there.
Natural Orbis Christiani.
Yes, the global Christian designation.
You got it. So clearly, the Jesuits and the priests and the Arab sultans and the monarchs of Europe all had this former knowledge, these former things. And look, so even down here, still you got the Terra de Fuego, which is also part of Terra Australis over here, and they had yet to go down and see and go all the way around South America and find that Antarctica had shrunk a whole lot more. And how do they have these rivers mapped in here when they hadn't even explored this yet? How did they have these countries named Peru, Chile, Brasilia before they were even created? Florida before even created? Because, well,
there's a couple of reasons.
It was the time before. It's always been.
Yeah. Hey, go. I'm sorry to ask you to go back one more time. Look at Tartaria one more time. Go back and look at Tartaria one more time. I mean, look at that. See this whole Russia, Tartaria, and what do you got down there? You've got that's definitely yeah, India. Just very interesting. What do you think that says right above Tartaria? It says Yatas or something.
Y-A-A-D. Yatal or Yate.
Interesting.
And you got Turduk up here. Turduk. And Cat Liao.
Those are major cities in Tartary.
Yes,
Asia.
they were.
And then wait, India, and you got India over in China, and Japan is India, and the Philippines. You can totally see that. I mean, you can't see Taiwan, but you can see the Philippines. You can see Thailand and Malaysia.
Yep.
And that red one is Borneo. I've been to Borneo. I mean, I could be a little off, but that's my opinion.
Most likely correct.
Interesting. Very interesting map. Yeah,
right?
I like to.
And it's like, how are all of these just make believe? No, it's not. It's from a previous time. And
It's not
Guinea, Barbary, all the ancient places.
Okay, right there. I can give you some idea about the term Barbary. Barbary came literally like what was it?
Caravana.
Before Barbary.
Colombia. Sorry. Continue.
I was thinking the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly. But look, it's Colombia and Venezuela are called Caribana then. So it was always the Caribbean in that area. Good question. Is there a Grand Canyon yet? This map doesn't have it. That one does. Too blurry. Let's continue on. It does not look like they have the Grand Canyon. No.
That map shows the same river system coming from the east for the Colorado River. And I'm kind of curious what that could be, like something that went into New Mexico, Texas. I'd have to check that. The Yuma River. There's a lot of modern day canals, and there's one is called right there where Baja meets Yuma, Arizona. It's called the American Canal, and I just wonder, was it a river originally that turned into canal? Because it comes from that direction.
Or was it an old canal beforehand? And look, so here they're just discovering some of the Great Lakes. Clearly, they're mapping a couple of them in, and they're trying to reach Shalaga. They're trying to reach Chicago that has yet to be refound, and no, it on the new Great Lakes, right? It's like they've gotten to one or two of them, and they're still mapping that there's a city called Shalaga there.
Yeah, I haven't really done a lot of research on that part. I should actually do more. And yeah, you're right. I noticed a lack thereof of the Great Lakes in these old maps. And in 12,000 years ago, 13,000 years ago, suddenly we've got the Carolina Bays, and they're all pointing right at the Great Lakes. So what happened?
Right, Mexicana. Right
okay,
there. That's the U.S. currently, and the top is America. No Great Lakes, but a river that goes all the way. There's no Mississippi yet, but there's a river that still goes to the St. Lawrence, or maybe St. Lawrence there, or maybe that's Hudson Bay. I'm not sure, but it's all the way.
Then you've got another bay at the
Continental Divide.
Don't forget that bay at the top right there. What's that? Hudson? That looks like the Hudson Bay too.
Yeah, this is probably right. So this is probably the Hudson. This is probably St. Lawrence. And again, still have part of, they're showing Antarctica the way it was beforehand. Okay, I
saw one map I recognized.
The Baja map. Sorry, so I was just flipping through quickly. Again, before it was an island, and they have clearly not been back yet. And here again, no Great Lakes. Or maybe this is them starting to find the Great Lakes potentially.
Kinda, not exactly though. And yeah, you're right. What you see in that, in my opinion, and yeah, you're right. The Baja is actually its own island in this map, and it's a big deal. A lot of people talk about this, but at the same time, I've also seen it reflected as a mistake in the literature and also the cartography.
Like they had the mistake of Antarctica and Australia before they existed, and the mistake of these dried up rivers that no longer exist exactly where they are located in their dry beds, right? All just these mistakes.
Well, look at this, how clear the rivers are, not just on the east side of South America, but the west side. So clear, and then they can't figure out that there's not an island up there. And look at the way the whole coast is very clear. And so they've done a lot of ocean-related research in this map. Yeah, and where are the Great Lakes? So they don't know because they're on their ship.
Just starting to map them. See, like they're just getting into some of them. It must be right here. Or they haven't gone and it's here. And this is, I don't know.
They're stuck on their boats. So they're doing everything by boat. And the fact that it says Mexicana right there is funny, very
Right?
interesting to me. I mean, we do
Again,
know there used to be Mexico used to own most of California, but now here in this map we don't even see Baja. Is that Baja down there? Baja
this right
California.
here.
So yeah, that map is pretty. Yeah, I think
Francia Circus Circulus Arcticus. So they knew the Arctic map. They already had the Arctic Circle in before being to the Arctic somehow. How is that? How do they have the Arctic Circle without having been to the Arctic? You got Greenland, you got Iceland, and you have Friesland still existing. And you still have Toboggan, but no Great Lakes when you have
look,
the river
I know
going into
about the
the
Tropic of Cancer. You can see the Tropic of Cancer right there, and
Yep.
that is 23.5 degrees. That's where the sun is directly overhead. Anywhere north of that, the sun cannot go directly overhead. It's at an angle. I understand that, but what is with the one up above, the Arctic Circle? What creates that? Why is that on the map? How do they know about that? I can't remember the rule.
Right?
I know about the Tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. That I'm very clear on. But I don't remember the Arctic line. Why is there such a clear line up there for the circular arctical, whatever that's set up there? In the where you showed up in the red.
Yeah, it's
That
that
doesn't make
they
sense.
were copying that from a previous knowledge civilization of right that would have mapped the whole globe and known the size of it and been able to do that. And again, look at this. We got this Solomon Island, but they don't know Australia yet.
In that last one you just showed, another thing down below down way below it shows the circle called Antarctica.
Yeah, the
And what is
Antarctic.
that Magala? What's with the word Magala? Oh, Magalanica.
Right, and you have Terra del Fuego on the South American side, and you have Terra Australis on the Australian side, right by the Solomon Islands. Just wild. Just wild. And you have Peru before Peru existed. You had Scotland Island. So Scotland was an island. Eric in Luke. Finlandian or something. Finlitz Island. Very, very suspect. Like, why would they just make that up? They would not just make that up.
Look at that one. I like that map. What's that Tartary map?
Right?
Yeah,
Tartary, 1754. And they even have the rivers mapped into Siberia where apparently nobody had been. Grand Tartary as well. It was Grand Tartary. All the way to the Caspian Sea here.
Well, in my opinion, with my knowledge, the term Greater China, that doesn't mean China. That means Greater China. It includes areas around China, like South Pacific. So maybe that means the Greater Tartary area. Look how small China is.
Right? Chini to India compared to Tartary.
And you don't see any Russia on that map, which is funny because the other one does show Russia.
It just says Europe there. You got Persia, Arabia, Indu, and Chin. And this is what Japan looked like back then.
Yeah, at
That
least they
was
have Taiwan.
pre-cataclysm.
They have the Green Island. They have Taiwan. They have the Philippines. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good map.
Yeah. Right? Supposedly before they'd been there. Again, we have Scotland Island. A couple of islands called Scotland Island, Faroe Islands, and Friesland Island.
This is a South Pole map, clearly showing
No,
Antarctica.
this is North Pole. No, this is North Pole map. And back in those days, there was the 4 islands surrounding the North Pole. And they have Greenland already. And they have Iceland already.
Okay, I see.
Very interesting.
I have to take another look at that's a little clearer right there. What's that red line? The Antarctic?
That's the Arctic Circle. Yeah,
the Arctic
Circle.
I don't understand what defines that circle. I forgot about that. Somebody in the chat.
It's the 90th parallel or no, the 7th. It's one of the parallels. It's a certain line on it.
I'm gonna do a Google. I'm gonna do a what do you call it? Chat GPT question.
70th?
What defines the Arctic
meridian? It's a meridian. It's the something meridian.
What defines
the
Arctic Circle? What defines it? We'll see what ChatGPT says. Hey, look at those rivers coming from the islands. But now we know that they're at all.
Because there was always 4 rivers separating the 4 islands. One with midgets, one with giants, and Mount Meru, I believe, in the middle, with a black magnetic mountain. Here again, another Arabic map. And look at Baja. Oh no, they have Baja here. What's this island and what's this island? What are those islands? What? What's this?
Well, that's pretty. Okay, so according to ChatGPT, the Arctic Circle is defined as a latitude line at 66.5 degrees. It marks the southern or northernmost point where, at least in one day of each year, the sun does not rise. So you've got a polar night, and the sun does not set. That's a midnight sun. The phenomena happens because of the tilt of the Earth. The Arctic Circle shifts slightly. 66.5 degrees.
66, and then probably the same with the Antarctic, or
right?
Haiti.
That goes in both directions. The sun does not rise. That's a polar night. You probably got the South Pole. That's a polar thing too. The sun does not set. It's something called a midnight sun, and it's like, okay, so the sun stays up the whole time because the Earth is pointed at the sun. 23.5 degrees, but it's like the other side of the Tropic of Capricorn or Tropic of Cancer.
Yeah, exactly. There's them and then them.
So I didn't realize that because I don't do a lot of. I mean, the Tropic of Cancer pops up on a lot of ancient maps, and so I see that all the time. But I never really deal with the Arctic Circle or the Antarctic Circle.
Again, the river going to the continental divide and no Great Lakes. Thus, these maps were copied from the time when they were making the megaliths in that area, and it was a river separating or taking the water out. Yet Haiti and Cuba both already existing. yet they hadn't been around the tip of South America.
It's funny they show those on the map.
A more complete one of the North Pole. And then here, this is mind-blowing because this is Antarctica with Terra Australia or something, but that's how it looks under the ice. That's literally Antarctica under the ice. So they have a map depicting the continent of Antarctica and how it is modernly been seen under the ice, scanned, and that they somehow depicted it just like that before it was discovered. They knew what it looked like under the ice.
I got a troll, Dave Schukert. Wow, ever think about preparing? Are we not prepared?
I think we're prepared. And
yeah, I got a couple of trolls. One of them's mad at you, by the way. Somebody else.
That. I wonder why they hate me. Oh well, can't please them all.
Can't do it all.
Here we have the Sahara, and it seems like they have rivers in the Sahara there too.
I can't even make that out, man. And that, by the way, that is a weird little line going into Africa. What is the point of that? I was just going to say that
that's the equator, or the
yeah, you're right. That is the equator. That is the equator. But the one you showed previous, it showed it going in a different direction. And oh no, that is it. Okay, I got it now. So that's the equator, but I don't get it. That is so twisted. Whoever did that map was definitely on acid right there.
Well, this is from the top. This is from the top down because that's the North Pole, and this is from the bottom up from the South Pole, right? So you can see that's Africa there, and that.
Right. So if you cut out South America, you can make a round globe with that because look how Africa. If you cut all that out, it would make Africa correct, and the fact that South America is all twisted and pointing and connected to Antarctica and disappearing. You don't see where's North America? You don't even see it here. That's very interesting.
Part of it over here. Oh no, here's part of it right here. This is North America.
What? Oh yeah, over there. But South America part.
So this part is North America, and this part, I believe, is North America.
You literally have to take an X-Acto knife and cut out that lines and turn it into a globe and see how it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Part of North America.
Oh, there it is. That's it has to be. It has to be.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go, and it connects if you cut it out of the top. I'm sorry, when I say the top, I mean north of Europe.
Yep. From here. And again, just the fact that they had it called Terra Australis, and it's without ice, and that it connects all the way up too. Like, and they have the continent, the under ice divide of Antarctica. Like, just wild. That's Antarctica without the ice. And then now they've removed Antarctica here, and they've seen that South America doesn't border some landmass there anymore.
But that must be, yeah. Obviously, they're lying right there. You know they're lying. They're totally pretending it doesn't exist. Like that's the beginning of the reset right there.
Yep.
Totally lying. They know it's there. Everybody knew it was there. They look at the map I showed at the beginning.
Okay, here they're showing Australia.
Jack Walsh.
They finally got to Australia.
Yeah, and then they got rid of this. It's all a cover up.
It is. It really is. They knew all along.
Hey, yeah, of course, Jack. Thank you for asking.
Very interesting. Tipis Orbis Terra Arbum. RVM, could that be Roman numerals or something?
Okay, so I can tell you what this means right there. Terra means orbis means globe. Orbis is the globe, and the land, Terra means the land. So I don't know the one on the left, Typus.
What's the RVM I'm saying? What's this part on Terra?
You know what? A good question for ChatGPT. Let me type that in there for you. Let me type in the whole thing. Can you back out so I can read it again? I got it right here ready to go. Is it TYPVS? TYPVS. And then Orbis is easy. That I already know. And then the last one is Terra and then RVM.
You got it.
All right, there we go. So it says it's Latin, map of the world, image of the world of lands, to be literal. Image of the world of lands. The first word is image, the second word is globe, and the last one means of the lands. The plural of terra, meaning land or earth.
Interesting.
The phrase is Abraham Ortelius' 1570 World Atlas. Is this it? Is that from Abraham Ortelius?
Yeah, so this is 1570 they made this.
Okay, that's the map. The ChatGPT recognized the map just from the title.
Right? So none of this stuff was really discovered back then.
Is that that's showing Antarctica right there?
Yeah,
right?
It is. Yeah, Antarctica, and then it's got Australia still connected to Antarctica, and it's going up to like what's the islands here? Like you got Indonesia just up. Oops.
Parts of it, yeah. Indonesia, all those South Pacific islands.
Oh my.
I like to say Oceania.
Yeah, right. So it's got Oceania there, Oceania, and then there's like the tip of Australia. And what's crazy though is that they have a different island, completely different. It's not Australia, and this is like more in the Pacific. And it's like, is that Lemuria beforehand? Potentially, I'm not sure.
But it's part of New Zealand. But yeah, Lemuria sounds about right to me.
Right, or a very large New Zealand. Very large.
Again, hey, I got a super chat. Super chat. Yeah, they said, "Hi, David. Can you look more at Australia?" And I was just gonna say, Australia, man, that area in the north of Australia, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on there. I just did a video showing the middle of Australia. The center of Australia has some kind of ridge. Where are those star forts at?
Terra Australis. They are just they shouldn't have been in this folder. We're gonna do them another day.
Gotcha.
Well, like look at this, Brazil. Like none of this stuff should have existed yet. Like they had no idea about any of these. Like going all the way into the Amazon, they're like, no, that was not inhabited. That was unexplored. Yet, they've got the rivers and towns all mapped out in it, like, and cities. But pre-cataclysm style, because this
let me just be honest,
doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't make sense, that river right there, to me.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. You're correct, but it's on all the ancient maps.
Yeah. And just like just like what's going on over there in the Senegal River. Senegal River also doesn't make sense. Thanks again, MCY4, for your super chat.
Nana something. Is this New Zealand? Like, or yeah, because is that the Solomons or is that Hawaii? I'm not sure. Need to get better resolution. But I think this would be Hawaii. That's New Zealand, right? This should be New Zealand. Is this where Australia is?
That makes sense. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, zoom up a little bit. What's that big red island right there? That's not Borneo. Borneo's in the middle of it all, so that's got to be the. I know what that is. It's Malacca. Malacca. Let me open up my map and take a look. Malacca is right there next to that yellow Malaysia island. I was like opening up Google Earth and seeing where I was last time I opened it up. It always takes me to someplace really exciting.
I like that.
Malacca. It's got to be Malacca, right? Yeah. There's Borneo, the red island right there. That green one just north of it makes more sense to be Borneo. Let me just, that green one right there. That one, the green one. And then the red one down below, that's like where Jakarta is. That island is called, hold on.
Oh, so that's Indonesia still. They've only gotten to Indonesia.
It's Java Island. That red one is Java.
Yeah,
Java. It's where Jakarta is. Bandung is there, and you can totally see West Sumatra, which is that yellow one next to it, to the left. The one to the left, that one, that's called Sumatra, which is North and South Sumatra. That's basically Malaysia. Wait a minute. No, that's actually not Malaysia. That's part of Indonesia too. That little bit, it's so that Malaysia part right north of that is so clear. That map is so cut and dry, shows Borneo so clearly.
Right, so they're exploring through here. They have yet to make it down here, and maybe this is Australia then, because I believe these are the Solomon Islands. I think, but I could be wrong. It's right below the equator. Right below it tip touches the equator.
Well, look, let me just remind you of one thing. When you look at Google Earth and you put the French Polynesia right in the middle of the map, you literally have no North America, no South America, no Australia. You have zero in this part of the South Pacific. It's all blue. There's no land at all. So when you say that's Australia, the first thing I hit...
No, that's sunk. That's sunk then. That's not Australia. That's sunk.
The Solomon Islands, maybe. You got to zoom into that. And then next to it, maybe Australia and Papua New Guinea. That yellow thing is Papua New Guinea, maybe. I told CryptoAlchemist I owed him a coffee, but I didn't buy him a coffee. Get that coffee.
Shout out, Corky. Thank you for the
he got the coffee. He got it. Awesome. I haven't had anybody buy me coffee yet. Go to the north of Australia and look at that thing I found, all that downtown, all that cut up. You're looking at maps, but if you can go to Google Earth, go to the north part of Australia. It's just insane.
You must load it and share your screen because my computer will crash sadly.
Jack Walsh, yes, I'm back in California. Share my screen right now then. I don't know how